Okay, my case was too heavy. So happy Sunday. We are back with another Her Story live series. I'm so excited for today's conversation. I'm excited for every conversation, that is true, but some conversations just hit a little different. Um, so we are going to. Hey girl, hey, I had to fix my phone. So whenever you're ready, you can send the live request and I'll bring you on. So excited for our live series to continue. Y'all, I'm like 2 more weeks in. 2 more weeks. And so I'm super excited for our conversation today with Nurse Britanie, with Critically Aesthetic. This is going to be an amazing conversation because black girls in the aesthetic world, so much to talk about. So,
Hey girl. Hey.
Hey.
Let me out
It's
of
always such a lag.
that. It always does.
Yes, it's always such a lag. So I'm so glad to have you
Yes,
on.
thank you
Introduce
for
yourself to
having me.
the girl. You have a cute one.
Girl. Okay, there we go. Can you hear me okay? I don't have my microphone.
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
Good. Okay, good. So welcome. Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much for joining us
that.
today on live. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you because it's really lately a lot of people have been talking about the aesthetics field and the industry and getting into it. And for black and brown girls, it always don't look like that for us.
Right.
So if you would introduce yourself to everyone, and we are going to get into this conversation today.
Yes. So welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. So my name is Britanie. I am the owner of Critically Aesthetic, located in Douglasville. I'm a registered nurse, also a licensed esthetician, a certified laser technician, and I'm going back to school for my NP. So I don't know why I'm doing this to myself, adding this stress, but it's gonna pay off. I know.
It is. It is. So we'll have that conversation separate off of here. Because girl, me too. Because I'm
Right.
over here like crying.
I'm like,
Like,
why
oh
am
my
I
God,
adding
I
to
have
my
to do
plate?
this.
It's already
Yes.
full.
Whew, so yes. Okay. Well, not alone in this.
Yes.
So, I definitely wanted to have this conversation with you. I met Brittany in Atlanta at an event with Six Figure Spa Chick. And so ever since then, like Brittany was so open to being able to like share, like what you need. What you need to talk about. You want to say something? Okay, let's talk. They telling you this, don't do that. And so a lot of times, a lot of women look at, oh, I can't share this, and oh, they like to gatekeep and do all that.
Oh man.
And Brittany is not that person.
No.
And I admire her in her business because she's tapped into an area that historically has not been made for people that look like us. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's so important to have that conversation because a lot of nurses that I come in contact with, which I'm sure you've had the same experience, they've wanted to check into and tap into the aesthetics field and have had several doors closed on
Right.
them. So kind of talk us through and walk us through how that journey into that field and going from bedside to where you are now.
Right. So I feel like you said, like this journey is not a door that's open for us. Even the services is not services that are marketed towards us. So just imagine just trying to branch into that career field. And this is not a career field that even I learned about in nursing school. I don't know what your nursing school taught,
I
but
didn't
this was not something
learn it.
we talked about. And
No.
so it's like a whole new realm of like world. So I think it looks different for everybody getting in. A lot of nurses, I feel like, start in IV hydration. But I didn't get into IV hydration. I went straight into like aesthetics. So I did like skincare, went and got my esthetician license. That's a disclaimer. You don't have to be an esthetician. You don't have to go to school for that. But that's just the route that I felt was best for me. So that's what I did. And then from there, I just kind of like networked in the market. Like, I joined some national groups, some local groups, some state groups, you know, just try to branch out and see like what it looks like for me and where I fit in into this world and how it can be a help for me and for other people. So that's what I did. And I can say like it's been an amazing chaotic journey.
Like the chaos part. Yes.
Right. It has. And it's just a whole new realm. Like, it just opens your eyes to like thinking like differently. Like, everything that we know of as nursing is completely different when you're on the business side and when you're in like the wellness beauty industry. Like, it's completely different. Like, and I always say this, when you're working in a hospital, patients are going to come to you regardless. You don't know how they come or why they come, but they eventually just show up in the bed. But it's different in the aesthetics field because you're like, dang, how these patients are going to come to me? Like, and when they don't come to you, what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to navigate that? So it becomes a whole different avenue of learning, I feel like.
And that is a very good way to put that, because I didn't think of it like that. That is very true. Like, I mean, my background's ER, so they come. They wait. There's a line out the door. Sometimes they are waiting to get in. And when you're in your own business, you like, ain't nobody knocking down your door to get to you. Like, they're not.
Yep.
So you are okay. You're used to this flow of, oh my God, I'm always having one person after another, one person after another. So you know how to manage that and navigate that. But what does that look like when that is not the case?
Right.
When you're own business.
And I think a lot of people don't have that like idea in mind. Their thing, like, and that was me. I was naive. I was like, oh, you know, I'm a nurse. People's going to come to me. I'm an esthetician. I'm a nurse. People are going to be sitting in my chair. That's not the case. People don't know about you. You're not like out there marketing. And I don't even know what marketing is. And that was something I felt like I just had to learn, a new space of learning. Like, it was just so much I felt like transitioning, but it's a lot of good information when you network and meet the right people, I feel like.
Very true. So how did you decide that this was the lane that you wanted to go into?
So I guess my decision happened, I would say, honestly, I felt like I always wanted to do beauty before nursing school. Like, I wanted to go be a makeup artist, like a theater makeup artist, and, you know, do like costume makeup and all kinds of stuff. But I took the nursing route. And then from there, you know, after life and then everything, you just like, dang, what are some of the things that I enjoy, or some things that I did enjoy? Like, let me find myself again. So that's when I just started looking into, like, can a nurse do makeup? Can a nurse, you know, do this and do that? And then that's when aesthetic nursing popped in my Google. And I'm just like, well, let me check this out. So I'm looking, and I'm like, wow, like, I didn't know that this existed. So that's when I decided to transition, because I needed that purpose of myself, but to add to my career, if that makes sense. So I got both of them.
Makes sense. So for those who are unaware, can you share what is exactly aesthetic nursing? Like, what does that entail?
Yes. So aesthetic nursing, aka cosmetic nursing, is when you use medical instruments, tools, or medication to restore life. So a lot of people call it like injectable nursing, or I'm not gonna say cosmetic, but you're basically restoring or preserving the youth of individuals cosmetically. So it's a cash-based business.
So when you think of stuff like, give us an example of some services, because people ask all the time, like, what that looks like.
Yes, so of course, like laser, PRP, microneedling. You can do body contouring. You can do injectables like Botox, fillers, non-surgical BBLs. So non-surgical procedures that a lot of your favorite celebrities get, and you just really don't know about it.
So yes, it is a untapped area that, well, let me take that back. It is an area that we think is untapped, right, but it is, the cosmetic nursing industry is booming.
It's a trillion-dollar industry.
And it is always been, like I said, celebrities and the affluential people, but people always have never thought that is a space for Black and brown girls.
Right.
And oftentimes it hasn't been. There have been a lot of people that I know that have been like, oh no, Black girls, oh, I don't need Botox. Oh, I'm not gonna get that. Oh, I wouldn't do that.
I don't need that. Yeah.
And it's like, it's not necessarily a need, but there are so many benefits that come from just using it. That's not just because people think Botox and they think, oh, I got to get these big lips.
Right.
There's more to the industry than just that.
It is.
So when and how did you know, like, did you attempt to like work for someone in that lane? Or did you just say?
So I tried, I went on a lot of interviews, sent my resume out a lot, like just trying to network with people, and I never really got a vibe. And then there was one, like popular med spa here, and they were like, yeah, we'll hire you, but you don't have any experience. So that's when I actually did, like, go to school, get my esthetician license. I'm like, look, like I went on my way and got this, like here I am. But then they were like, oh, yeah, but you don't have injectable experience. Oh, but you don't have this. Or, I don't think you'll be good fit, in our office with our team members. And I'm like, well, what does a good fit look like? What does that mean? And, it didn't work out with me and them for a reason, and so that's why I decided to like do my own thing, branch out, learning on my own, because knocking on doors just wasn't opening for me. It didn't work out.
And that's very common, because Black and brown girls, when you go into these white offices, they're not looking for somebody that looks like you. And so the same, I wanted to go into, cosmetic nursing, but I was like, that's my thought process. I need the experience to get it. But everyone is telling me I don't have the experience. And I'm like, well, how do you expect me to get the experience if I don't have it?
Right.
So it's discouraging because you feel like this is the era that they're trying to keep you out of.
Right, but it is.
The beauty of it is you were like, no, I'm going to create my own lane and I'm going to create my own door. And so Critically Aesthetic came about that.
So Critically Aesthetic is here.
Yes. So kind of let us know and walk us through, like, how did the steps on you, like, okay, I'm going to get my experience. I know there's training I need to do. I know you went to esthetician school, but like, what put you in a position to say, okay, I'm comfortable with doing that? Because I hear that from a lot of nurses, like, yes, I can go and get trained and get the certification to do it, but I'm still not at that level where I'm seeing people to be able to be comfortable to offer these services.
Right. Right. I think, okay, so if you think about when you first got out of nursing school, or even when you started your first clinicals, and you wasn't comfortable drawing blood or putting in IVs or even just doing a medication pass. So I think it's the same type of like uncomfortableness. But once you do it over and over and over, you just get comfortable. So I had to tell myself, like, okay, I'm trying to think of the right words to say this because I don't want it to sound bad. So one time I had a preceptor who told me, go into this patient's room, tell them what medication what medication that you are providing for them in like just a one-liner why. Like, here's hydralazine for your blood pressure, and that already will make you feel and look like a legit person. So that's what I decided to do. When I walked into the room, and I have a client there, and they might be like my second or third person that I injected. Then I'm like, hey, this is what we're going to do. You know, I walk them through the steps that I know. So when I'm talking to them, you have to educate your patients, first assess, then educate, then treat. And so when you use those three things, no matter if you're confident or not, you're going to build that confidence. And if you don't have the confidence, and if you're too scared, you know, when you're too scared, just don't do it, because you're going to make a mistake.
That is very true. You can't have all the confidence in the world, but a lot of people say even if you don't have the confidence, you got to have the courage to do. So yes, have the courage, but if you feel like you're going to mess up some stuff,
right, hey, don't do it. I have somebody with some extra hands in a room.
To be able to, if you're going to fumble somewhere,
right.
and you know that, because sometimes people's nerves do get the best of them. And even though they know it, doing the thing freaks them out.
Right.
So you have to be sure, and I like that assess, educate, and you treat, because I mean, that's what we do. Right. You have to make sure that, yeah, you're there, but you just like you said, you have to get the practice somewhere. It doesn't.
And to be honest, the patients don't know what you don't know.
They don't.
They don't know what you don't know. And I mean, if you think about when they come into the hospital, they don't know you're a new grad unless you tell them you're a new grad. You know, they don't know
they just
that
RN badge of your.
Yeah, they don't know that the doctor that's seeing them is actually a resident. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know. So I think if you assert a level of confidence and education to make that person feel safe, then really, I mean, you got it. Like, always review your protocols before the procedure. Like, I always start off doing that. Like, before I would see a patient, I'm like, okay, let me review this protocol step by step, walk through, like, literally, like I'm in skills lab practicing how to do this and why I'm doing this. And then when they come in, I already got it down, because I didn't literally just did a whole like 30-minute practice doing it.
And I feel like as nurses, sometimes we feel like we're expected to know everything.
Right.
So
that's true.
Put that pressure on ourselves that, well, I have to know this, and I'm guilty because I've done the same thing with a lot of things. I have to know all these things. Like, no, Denisha, you don't have to know it all. One, you need to know what it is that you're doing. Yes, you do need to know that thing. Whatever that you don't know, either make sure you have the resources to find it, and it's okay to say, you know, that's a good question. Let me get back to you on that.
Yeah.
And find out, like, that's okay to say. And I used to be like, oh my God, I cannot do that. If somebody asks me a question, I have to have the answer. I have to go into details. I have to do, like, that's too much pressure to put on yourself. And moving into an industry that is usually not something that is seen for us, like, that's how they keep us out. No, I want to do this. This is what I know I can do. It's unfamiliar to me, but I can learn it. Just like you have to learn the skill of being a nurse. Like, I didn't start an IV in somebody's artery before. I've done that. Okay. I did not know that. I had a preceptor that was just like, okay, Janisha, you got to figure, you don't see what's wrong here? And I was like, no, I did amazing. I did a great job.
Right. I got a blood return. Like, what you mean?
I did. She was like, but that wasn't the right place. So those are things, like, you're going to make mistakes, but just make sure they ain't going to cost you your license. Okay.
Right. And make sure you know how to fix those mistakes.
And
call a friend, phone a friend. You better find a friend who knows. That's why it's good to make connections. Find a friend who knows.
So how has life been as an aesthetic nurse? If you've been in business for a couple years, like, just what has that looked like for you? Because you're full-time entrepreneurship, right?
So I'm not full-time. I did take a couple months where I was full-time, but it didn't really work out for me on a personal side, to be
that makes sense.
So but what it looks like for me is literally like it's like a roller coaster. It's ups and it's downs. Sometimes you're like in a great space. I feel like with my business, and then there's sometimes where you're like, dang, like I didn't meet my goal. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I need some more education. I didn't go to, that seminar, or, it's just a lot, I feel like, on your plate, because I wear a lot of hats, it's not just the entrepreneur hat. It's, the mom, the wife, the friend, the this, the that, and all of it. You have to be all of it at once. And sometimes, like for me personally, I feel like sometimes you just have to take off all of those hats at once. So I feel like I'm in a space where I'm able now to find my voice and say, you know what, today I can't be there for you. Check back tomorrow. Or I'll turn off my business phone. I'm like, no, I don't feel like talking to no clients today. I didn't have no patients yesterday, so I don't need to talk to no patients today. You know what I mean? So I learned to set boundaries, and I felt like that was important for me, doing that. If you don't set boundaries, then you will literally, in the beginning, I felt like I didn't have boundaries. I was saying yes to every event, yes to every meet and greet, yes to going here, yes to going there, and literally, like, it was just strenuous. So now I feel like entrepreneurship, I'm in a peaceful place without any pressure. The only pressure I'm putting is on myself. So that's what it's like for me. As far as let's see, as far as like being able to step away 100% from the bedside, I tried that for a period of like 8 months. I did it, and it was great. I loved it. I felt like I was just on a peaceful journey in that moment. However, it didn't fit well with my home life because it costs money. And so sometimes when you're not meeting that goal at your business, you have to think, like, you have your whole business. That's like a mortgage by itself. And then you have your actual mortgage and other bills on top of that mortgage, So when you make money, even if you make your goal, that's your goal for your business. So then you have to think of ways to be creative. How can I make money just within my business? Because when you have to purchase and buy so much stuff, from insurance to products to supplies to even just going to seminars, that costs money. And then so when you look at your personal life, you're like, dang, I did good over here on my business side, but here I am on my personal side, and things are not adding up. And you can't pull from, and then you have to think of, okay, how can I find a way to pay myself for my business? Even when you do find that, unless you are literally making, I would say, at least $70,000 a month within your business, you can not like really 100%, I feel like, step away from the bedside, unless you have a very modest life.
Yeah, and most of us do not. Okay, I don't care what we say, we don't. So yeah, that is, I completely get it. I did the same thing. Like, I was like, I'm going to try it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go full steam ahead. And I was like, okay, this is costing a whole lot. A lot of this is adding up. Oh, I got this class. Oh, you need me to fly out there? Oh, I got to go over here. I'm like, okay.
And then you start digging into your savings. And then it's like, wait a minute. Like, I'm using my own money now. Like, no.
It doesn't work. So it is, I've had to learn the balance for me has been PRN stuff, which is the beauty of nursing. That is what I have been able to use to find a balance, because I can say, okay, I can dedicate these days to work, and then I can dedicate these days to doing my business.
Right.
And it is a lot. It is. I will not. I mean, in this week, we had our grand opening yesterday. I didn't sleep a lot the last couple of weeks. But I know, like, it's the sacrifice you have to make to get to the long-term goal. But it's just good consumer. Okay?
Right. A lot of people think that when you open, that you're going to make all this money. And let's be honest, it takes years to get there. I mean, some people get so lucky that maybe they can do it in 2 or 3 years.
You're right.
But really, it takes time. You know, like you have to literally, like the worst thing that I ever done in my business was use my own money. I feel like that was the worst thing I ever done. Like, no lie.
I can agree. I can agree because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna just pick up an extra shift. I can
Right.
work these 2 extra shifts, and I'll be able to cover this, this, and this. Like it is, I am guilty of bootstrapping. It is a way to generate revenue in your business, but it ain't the best way.
Right.
Because it does put you at a disadvantage, where that's literally all that you rely on, and so you feel like you have to work 10 times harder over here just for your business to kind of come up a little bit when you still have all personal experience. I mean, personal things that you have to take care of. So, but I do love that you're saying you have to set boundaries. A lot of new businesses, I feel like, don't understand that concept. They say no, they say yes to everybody and take everybody's money, and that does not work.
Right. That was me. I was yes. Okay, I'll be there. Win. Okay, yeah. And it was too much. Like I wasn't finding no balance. It was stressful trying to, and it's a lot whenever you everywhere. And then I feel like when I'm everywhere, I get this much done.
Yep.
But when I focus on an area in a place, then I can get so much more done.
Exactly. And that's true. Because you can't be everything for everybody. You can't do everything, and everybody needs money. But all money is not good money. So it is learning that. If you learn that early, I promise it will save you some time. Because a lot of people do not come into your space with good intentions. And a lot of times we learn that, okay, yeah, that may have been a client here, but what is it going to cost you on the back end? And running your business requires a lot of admin stuff. I don't care how many people tell you that it does not. It requires a lot. You can serve, especially as a service provider. And so you definitely have to make sure that you have that aspect too. Injector Ashley Clinch, she said, did you ladies do your own marketing, or did you have a VA and a marketing team? I'll let you start with that question because I have two parts.
I tried both. I started off doing my own marketing. And so what I started off with was, of course, the free stuff. So I started off with Instagram and Facebook, and then I started doing advertisements, and then I joined my Chamber of Commerce, and then I started going to those events, networking with other business people in those industries and see how we can connect. And then eventually social media got to be too much. So then I added a VA, and it's, to me, the VA is not beneficial for my business. And so it worked out the way it's supposed to. That's all I can say. It worked when it was supposed to, but it didn't work how it was supposed to, if that makes sense. So yeah, the VA is fine if it works for you, but for me, it just didn't work. Like, it was just like finding somebody who know the industry, who know the language, who you don't have to tell step by step what to do. Like, okay, I've already, given you a description of what I need you to do. These are the services we provide. If there's questions in a DM, answer them. If you don't know the answer, either use the website, or there's a great reference called Google. If you don't know what Botox is, just watch a YouTube video, or, go to my website, figure it out. But for me, I felt like it was a whole bunch of teaching the VA how to do their job, and that was just too much time on my hands.
Yes. I was like Brittany. I did the same. I started out doing it myself, and I did the social media stuff. I took some marketing classes. I was on YouTube trying to figure out what to do. I just did what I saw other people do, and it did not work. But I did a lot of vendor events for marketing. So last year, I think we did 13 vendor events. That was too many. I will not do that again this year.
That is a lot. That's an event.
Yes. So I did 13 vendor events last year, and that helped me with marketing, but I was so tired. Like, it was literally, like you said, it was an event among one bus. I had 2 events in the same day. And so it was good, because I was able to really, get my name out there and build connections and network with people. But on the flip side, it took me away from the admin stuff and really focusing on streamlining what I really wanted in my business. It didn't allow me that aspect to do that. So I had to bring on a team because I was drowning, still working full time, and trying to service clients, trying to do events. Like I was like, I'm gonna go crazy.
Mhm.
I almost did go crazy. And so I hired 2 nurses to work under me, and I also hired a VA as well. But like Brittany says, it is a learning curve.
Mhm.
And so I had to find a VA, and then I hired a social media team to do that as well. And they made everything, the social media team made everything look pretty for me, but for me, it wasn't converting. Like it can
Right.
aesthetically look nice, but if my content and stuff is not converting, then it's not beneficial to me.
Right.
But I realized it was because my own message and my content was not clear. So they can only put out what it is that you're giving them, and my marketing message wasn't clear. So I had to take a step back and say, okay, you really need to go back to square one, figure out what your message is, figure out what makes sense. What are you trying to say? Who are you communicating to? What service do you want to offer? Like those were the things that I skipped that in the beginning. I don't recommend that, but I skipped that in the beginning. So I was always felt like I was working backwards. So I still have a VA that works with me. So it does help take extra stuff, admin stuff off of my plate that I know that I cannot focus on. And I feel like it's easy enough to do like research or reaching out to these people or figuring out who I need to contact. Like I've allowed her to do stuff like that. She does help me with like social media stuff, more of like creating content. But then I also have graphic designers that I use if I need something that's a little bit more in depth. So it is a balance because you do have to teach a lot.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating. But I do feel like it just depends on the stage that you are in your business. You need something, whether it's a VA
Right.
or
You do need
someone
somebody
else.
that you cannot do it. Like you're trying to do everything, it's not going to work out right, and you're going to be lacking somewhere.
Yes. And it's always going to be in your business because that's the first thing that's going to suffer. So I will say that my new best friend is AI. The new wave, if y'all are not on that, you better get onto it because ChatGPT is my new best friend. Okay? I use her because she's a her to me. I use her in everything that I do these days. So you just got to kind of figure out what works for you and what lane and what you really need because it looks different for everybody.
Right. It does look different. I don't think that there is like one way for any of this to get into the industry, to sustain or to succeed. Like it looks different from everybody. You know what I mean? Like everybody get into it and do it differently. You just have to figure out what works for you.
So yeah, it's it's a lot of trial and error. And like Brittany was saying, like you got to network with people. You really have to build connections. You have to build relationships with people because that is going to get you a lot further than just you trying to just figure out what works for you on your own. You're not going to get that far.
Right. And not only that, like I was thinking about this one time when I was talking to one of my mentors, and I'm like, is mentoring like 100% necessary? And they're like, yeah, if you want your business to succeed. So I'm in the shower and I'm thinking about the conversation that we had. And I'm like, if I want my business to succeed, like, what do that mean? Like, of course I want my business to succeed. But then it just literally popped up in my head. We always have a mentor, whether it's your teacher, your mom, or whatever. You learn things from people that you don't know. Even when it's like just learning how to do 1 + 1. You had a mentor show you how to do that simple math equation. You know, when you're learning how to read, when you're learning how to write, teachers are mentors. So your whole life you have a mentor. So to think that you don't need a mentor to help you navigate this new industry that you're trying to get into or this new way that you're trying to go is crazy because YouTube cannot be your mentor. YouTube leaves out so much information. That is crazy.
It is. So I want, since you said mentor, I want to move into like, how did you move into the education side of it? Because I know that's It's your,
I
it's your
didn't
new
know.
wave now.
That was really not something that I thought that I would get into
Uh-huh.
along the way. But I always get DMs, messages, like just all kinds of stuff like, hey, let's connect. Hey, can you show me? Can you teach me? Do you know? Can you, just always these questions. So I'm like, I just got to find a new avenue because people want to know just like I wanted to know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's how I got into it. I feel like I was pushed into it by just being here.
That's true. I'm like, I am guilty. I was the one that did the same thing. Like, hey, we should sit down and like connect. I just want to just talk to you for a little bit. And because I mean, seeing somebody that's doing what you want to do, that's important for you to, establish those relationships and build that connection because you just never know what you may need to connect with them and ask them questions. But like I said the other day, it's one thing to ask somebody a question. But if you want me to sit down and do a whole consultation with you, that's something completely different.
Right.
So picking my brain is one thing, but you trying to pick my brain for a whole lot and to start your whole business and revamp everything, that's two totally different things.
It's like we need to start from the top. Like I don't even know nothing about you, girl, and I don't even know the direction you're going. So here's the link. Let's schedule a time so I can give you my undivided attention.
Right, because something on the fly, I can respond to you real quick, 5 or 10 minutes. But if you start going into detail, and I'm like, oh, I gotta really go. Oh, you really got some questions. Oh, I really need to. That's a little different because we don't. I mean, as nurses, we do a lot of education, so it's not uncommon for us to often do that. And I'm not surprised that you are moving into that arena because it's a natural thing. Like we educate our clients and patients all day, every day.
Mm-hmm.
All we do.
All the time.
So,
being a hospital, being a preceptor, like it's always just education. So so that's why I said I was pushed into it.
Yes.
Like
so
I don't gatekeep, but I give information I feel like that is valuable that I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yes. So the other Instagram page, is that your education piece that you're moving into?
It is. So I'm pivoting a new, adding that to my business so I can separate the two because I feel like it's easier for me if I separate them. And so it's called, I'm creating a space called Diversity in Aesthetics, which is going to be used as like a group of people who want to or is in the aesthetics industry, whether estheticians or nurses. And I want to stick to that realm. Like, I don't want to get into like hair and like barbershop. Like, that's not my realm. I don't know anything about that. I don't even touch my own hair. So I want to stick to that. And I want this to be a network, a group of people that we can use each other for resources and help each other build, because I feel like it's not out there. And if it is, like it's a couple groups that I'm in where I'm the only one who's like a Fitzpatrick 3 and higher. Like,
Wow.
it's just like, oh, okay, I'm the only brown girl in the room, which I'm okay with that. But it's nice to be able to sit with somebody and talk to somebody on your level, on your terms, who just speaks a whole different language than you.
It is true. And I love that space. I am definitely here for that. Because a lot of people, I was literally just talking to my friend yesterday, like, it's hard for us to tap into that aesthetic. Because it has always been an industry that's not for people that don't look like us. And we want to be able to get into the industry. We want to be able to do it. And more brown and black people are getting into they're wanting to service it. But they've always been told that that's not for them.
Right.
And we do have different skin. We do, like, even with laser hair removal, like you do, like there's such a difference in lasers and melanated skin.
It's 100% a difference. I've had one client, she was like, I'm coming to you because I see you on social media, but the other girl who I was with, she does my electrolysis. So if anybody knows, electrolysis is a permanent hair removal process. And it's literally them going into each hair follicle and literally just basically shocking the hair follicle where hair absolutely 100% would never grow back. That takes time, commitment. Only about 30% of patients actually finish the treatment because it's so painful. So the lady was like, I was getting electrolysis, and my esthetician told me that only I can get electrolysis because laser hair removal wouldn't be good because I'm Black and it's going to burn my skin. And so I'm really scared to be here. But her treatment is so painful, I can't stand it. So I said, okay, well, that was a lack of education on her end, because it is for Black people. Maybe she don't know how to do it. Maybe she need to study some more physics. I don't know. However, there are different machines and different techniques you can do to make it safe for your skin. So with me, she completed the entire service. She was completely happy with her results. And she's like, I need to tell more people about this. Like, I'm sitting here going through this pain because she suffered PCOS and she literally had like a beard. And I was like, yeah, people think that it's not for us because we're Black, when it's just the people don't know how to do it. And if you don't know how to do it, just say, I don't know how to do it, girl.
It is, but they want to take your money. And so
they want your money. Nobody gonna say it's not.
They want your money. So it is important, even though it's not an industry that historically hasn't been for us, it is so important for us to be able to offer these services because the people who do want them are not comfortable going to people who don't look like them because they're not going to treat their skin like they need to. That's just like with an esthetician. That's just like with somebody who does laser hair. That's somebody who does Botox. Like, there are differences in our skin that as a provider, if you don't know how to treat it, you will mess it up.
You will. That is so true.
So,
you will.
So I love that you're having that diversity in aesthetics because we need it.
Yes.
And I love that when you went to the aesthetics conference and it was just a group of Black girls that are in the industry going into the conferences that are not historically for us. So I said, you know what, they coming to Dallas, so I'm going to go.
Literally. Like, we
for
were
me,
at the table. It was like 10 of us, and it was the only table that was like a chocolate chip. Like, everybody in there was like looking at our table just amazed and coming by and giving us compliments. Oh, you're so beautiful. Like, girl, we know we beautiful. But thank you. But it was just like they was amazed that we was there. That's why they just kept staring and looking like, oh my gosh, you know what I mean? And so not only that, we behave ourselves, we represented, like,
came in, showed out, we was dressed to the T, we showed we was cute,
and we even educated them, like,
exactly.
This is what we're gonna do.
And that is very, like, I love that. And I was just like, that is an untapped space. So I was like, Brittany doing this, I was like, this is amazing because it really is an untapped space that we don't feel like we belong there.
Yeah.
But there are more and more brown and Black people who are wanting to get into laser hair, that are getting into Botox, that are getting into electrolysis, that are getting into skincare. And they just don't feel like they have the providers to be able to take care of their skin and do the treatments that they need.
That is
like true. We do it. So definitely I love that. So somebody said, like, what do your ladies specialize in and what is the main service that you push? So Brittany, what would you say is your specialty?
So I would say my specialty is microneedling, but I love lasers. But I feel like microneedling is kind of for everybody. Like, no matter you want to get rid of, most people have a lot of dark spots, have uneven skin tones, have like, just a lot of imperfect areas in their face. And I feel like microneedling is one of those things that kind of works for everybody. There's not a lot of contraindications other than like being a smoker. But other than that, like, it's literally for everybody. It's a safe treatment because it don't have any heat and it don't have any chemicals. So it's a safe treatment for every type of skin.
And explain to them what what exactly is microneedling? Because
So
people don't know it.
yeah, so microneedling, aka collagen induction, is when your skin becomes injured. You injure your skin
Mhm.
um to trick your skin into thinking that it's injured. So when your skin is injured, what it do is it hurry up and it creates these new realm of collagen, which actually helps either slough off like dead skin, helps plump your skin, or helps hydrate your skin using your own body mechanisms.
Yes. So really good treatment to use. And a lot more people are getting into microneedling.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that is a service that you have to make sure that your patient, that your clinician is licensed. Um,
Please do.
because there are so many people that are doing microneedling. I'm like, you don't even have, some
It's so
states
many
you have to be a
people
nurse to be
doing
able to
some
do it.
crazy stuff. Me and one of my spa friends was literally having this conversation yesterday. Like, it's so many people who's out here providing these services, who look good, who's doing it, looking like they know what they're doing and not credentialed. They don't have no state license at all. Like, none.
Yep. We're
Yes, they
going
may have 10,000 million followers, but
Ooh.
they don't have no
Nope.
license.
And
So make sure that
yeah, and people pay them they money,
people
and you
pay
should
the
not.
money.
It looks good, but it's very important that if you're doing any kind of body modifications or whatever it may be, you got to make sure that you're going to somebody who's reputable, know what they doing,
Mm-hmm.
and got some kind of paper behind them to
Yep.
say that they can do it. Because people
Mm-hmm.
be botching,
Yep.
okay? Even if it's non-invasive, they can still mess it up.
Yep.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a conversation we can have for a whole nother day.
I know
Because
too
I'd be
many people
surprised.
who get filler and Botox from overseas and places that they should not be getting from, and be injecting into people.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Or they teach people to do the service, and that person is not licensed to do the service, but you
Yes.
teaching them how to do it.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
like I said, another conversation for a whole other
It
day.
is.
But so how can someone connect with you on the diversity in aesthetics and on critically aesthetics as well?
Critical aesthetic, you can literally just reach out to me in my DMs. I'm pretty good at responding within, I'll say 72 hours. Because y'all know I got that boundary wall put up. Like, a day where I cannot, I just will not.
Right.
But yes, I'm really good at there. I'm trying to make critically aesthetic more for clientele, and then for the diversity in aesthetics, you could follow my page. I'm getting ready. Here it is. I put it in the comments.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to actually open up a Facebook group just so it can be that close connection type of thing, so that we could, like, I know, sure, resources. Like, I have a lot of resources that, like, I'm open to, like, just putting out there into sharing, because I feel like people need to know. But I want it to be a safe space for people who are licensed, who are professional, and who do want that industry, like, connection and bond, sisterhood. So follow Big Energy Injector. There's 2 G's on energy. And then watch for that link. I'll probably put it out by midnight.
Okay. Yes, because I was like, oh, when I saw it, I was like, oh, girl, we got to talk about this online.
I
Because
know. I'm really
I had a whole
excited.
different train of thought for the conversation, and I saw that. I was like, oh, we need to lead with that part.
Yes, I'm so excited about it. I'm going to do, I work with one of my other spa tribe members, I guess, and we're trying to put together like a luncheon or a mastermind, so that we could come together and just offer information, and then like, help people just, like, branch out. And here's an idea for y'all. So if you're not a person who open up a business, I feel like it's not for everybody, and you don't have to do it because it is a lot of work. but it's an idea for whoever wants to take it. So if you're looking to get into the industry, but you're not sure if you want to own 100% of your own business, what you could do is contract yourself out, take some classes, become injector certified, take some Botox and laser, take a cadaver course, and then contract yourself out. And what I mean by that is literally think about it like as a travel nurse, but you're traveling to different spas and offering them your service. So for instance, if you know an esthetician or a beauty bar around the corner or nearby or whatever, you can contract yourself out to them and be like, hey, my name is Britanie. I'm licensed and certified in Botox and fillers, and I can offer these to your clients. I can come in every Wednesday and I can do this, and this will add more revenue to your business. This will also allow you to be introduced to the community as a medical spa because you're providing medical services, and I can be the nurse to do that. So that it could be just that simple, where all you have to do is connect with, someone in a beauty industry that will allow you to connect with them, and then that way you could contract yourself out to them. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't.
I like that myself. Look, I like that.
And it's like, yeah, and just partnering with people. Like, okay, on Wednesdays, I'm over here at this beauty bar. On Mondays, I'm over here. On Thursdays, you catch me over there. And all the time, you don't have to own a spa. You just show up in your free time and do it. Build your clientele, build your connections in the industry, and that's the way to break in.
I like that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna flip that, since I have a spa, and I'm gonna flip it, and I'm gonna go search for people to be able to do that.
You can. Yes.
Yeah.
If you need a contract, I have a contract in my resources. So that you can modify and add to, take away, whatever you want to. But then you provide them this contract, like, these are the days I'm available. This is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to do it. And this is what I need you to do. Because one thing I learned is that you always have to 100% have everything in writing when you're doing business. Down
Okay. You sure do. I keep, if there's one person that I keep on my team, it's my attorney.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything.
Because it's so important, because every state has different laws and people will try it.
Yep.
So my attorney goes over all my contracts. She's created my contracts for my partnerships.
Yes.
Like, that is one part of my business. It is probably the most expensive part of my business.
Right.
But it is the part that I cannot. It is very necessary. Right. My attorney and my insurance are the two top things that I cannot.
I would say that as if you're getting into the industry, the first thing you do need to do is hire an attorney. Make sure you have good insurance on yourself. Get insurance on your hands, because you work with your hands. Get insurance on all of your devices, just in case something goes wrong. And get you a bookkeeper. Like, those are the three things you need: an attorney, insurance, and a bookkeeper to be successful. Like, there's no way you can get around Uncle Sam. There's no way that something's going to go wrong. You in a business long enough, something's going to go wrong, and that's just what it is. And then your attorney is going to be there to help you walk through those legal aspects of life.
Yes. Okay. I like that. I need to insure my needs. So, because they are not. My business is insured, but they are not. So do you have any recommendations for somebody who's not certified in Botox or fillers, how to go about getting certified? Like, if there are specific places that you recommend, or what is something that you would say, okay, try this, maybe try this, but don't do this?
I think if you want to get into the industry, I would try to get certified first, because that will give you an idea if you really want to do this or not. You could go through AAF, which is like American Aesthetic Facial something. AAF on Instagram. You could do MSPA, AMSPA. I love MSPA. That's who I'm with. You could do that. It's a whole lot of like different places where you can get certified into aesthetics. If you're not sure, because I do know nurses who don't want to do injectables. They just want to do like skincare, IV hydration, like a whole wellness part. You can do that. You can offer like I don't know, like chemical peels, dermaplaning, microneedling. You can do body contouring. It's not my thing, but if it's your thing, you know, you can do it.
Yes. There are a lot of options as a nurse that you have, and it's not just bedside. I promise you, there are so many things that you can do, and it does not mean that you have to work as a bedside nurse. And cosmetic nursing is an amazing field for you to go into because you have so many options, but you just need to make sure that you're certified, and make sure that you're going into this industry and making sure, like you have those 3 things that Brittany mentioned. And making sure that you're staying on top of your business, because at the end of the day, you still have a license to maintain. And if you out here botching stuff and doing stuff that you have no business doing, they will snatch your license, because it is a very gray area with most boards. And so they don't have strict guidelines to how cosmetic nursing goes. So you have flexibility, but with that gray area, you also have to make sure that you're maintaining to stay within that gray area.
So true. And a lot of states are getting in the process. They're noticing that nurses are starting to own these spas and making money. And they're like, wait a minute, we don't have a lot of rules and regulations for them. So now they're trying to come in and trying to literally implement these rules that are preventing nurses from owning spas, from doing injections. Like in Alabama, PAs and nurse practitioners can't even do injectables, you know, and they're trying to do the same thing in Nevada. So just make sure you're licensed, make sure that you stay, you know, safe. Just be safe. That's all I can say.
Okay. As I tell people all the time, like, you can do it, but there's one thing you can't mess up, and that is your nursing license, because once that's gone, baby, that's it. So I appreciate you so much for coming on here with me today. I feel like this was so valuable for myself. I feel like I learned something from everybody. So I was over here like, oh yeah, I need to do that, because that's the next thing I know I want to tap into. I'm just like, oh, how does that look for me? What do they want to do? I'm like, okay, she's right. I can bring somebody in and contract them and have it. And I don't necessarily, you know, wait to do it. Like we said, I'm going back to school. So, you know, I got to figure out what.
Contract them and do it that way.
So, yes, y'all definitely make sure y'all tap in with Brittany. Make sure you go follow Big Energy Injector. Definitely when you post that, and invite us to the Facebook group, because I'm going to repost it. I'm going to be the first person in the group, okay, because I'm going to be right on over there too. Hey y'all, it's me. So I definitely look forward to what you're doing next. I am so proud of everything that you have done.
I'm so
thank
proud
you for always being, thank you. You've always been such a beam of light and so exciting and just open to share. And so I admire that. And I know, like, Big Energy is about to bring the big energy.
Big energy, yes. And please keep doing your thing. I'm so proud of you. Like, you've been consistent. You got this whole HERstory live series. Like, girl.
Okay. This was me saying you need to do it, Janisha. So if you're going to do it, you need to do it. It was a lot, I will say. Doing that with having other events going on and scheduling, and I will not lie, it's a lot.
You do it,
but I need it. I do. I do. But they make sense for my business.
Yeah.
And so because events make sense for my business, I have to do them. I don't always enjoy them all the time.
Right.
But, you know, sometimes you got to do stuff that just makes sense.
Right.
But now I'm just being more selective on the type of events I'm doing. At first I was just doing, oh, okay, yeah, I could just do an event. And my business does not fit in every space.
Right.
And now that I know that, I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to do more events on our own. I can now host my own events at my spa.
Right.
So that's really where I had to go through some, you know, lessons.
Of course.
And now that I've learned them, I'm like, okay, you don't have to. We're not doing 13 events this year. I can guarantee that. That's not happening. I didn't realize it was so many until I really sat there and I counted. I was like, dang, what did 13 events?
13, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And setting up for vendor events is a lot of work. So it's really, I'm just learning. Every day I learn something else. What makes sense, what works, what doesn't work, how we going to make this happen, how we going to do this. But definitely having a team and being clear on what it is that I want to do. It still changes every day.
Right, of course.
It changes every day. I'm just like, oh, well, you know what, that will work. No, that did not work.
Right.
So I love it. This was definitely, I'm definitely going to keep this as something I do every Women's History Month. It's just going to look different though. Because it is a lot. I am alive like a lot. But I'm like, okay, you can prove to yourself that you can do it, so therefore you can keep doing it.
Good job, girl. I'm proud of you.
So thank you so much for joining us today. We will definitely be on the lookout for Big Energy Injected, and definitely follow Critically Aesthetic. She's got some amazing things coming for y'all.
Yes, I do. Talk to y'all soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.